Atlanta has some incredible condo buildings spread out all over the city and spread out over all different price points. You can find some fantastic options in the 3s and 4s, but for this video, we're going to be focusing on the other end of the barbell. We're going to be looking at the 6 most expensive condo buildings that the city of Atlanta has to offer. So before we jump into it, my name is Dallas Blanton. I'm an agent here in Atlanta with eXp Realty, and if you or anyone you know is thinking about buying a condo, feel free to hit the link down below, schedule 15 minutes to see whether or not it might make sense for us to work together. Be happy to have that chat. But let's jump into it with number 6, 40 West 12th Street. Very small building in the grand scheme of things, only 64 units, spread over 20 floors. It's a very private building, a very quiet building, situated right in the heart of Midtown. You're walking distance to the park, to Cafe Intermezzo, to all the nightlife that Midtown has to offer. It's a really well situated building, not to mention new construction. It was built in 2021, so the amenities are world class. The most expensive on the market right now in the building is actually at the $2.6 million mark. I've shown some units in there that were 2.7, 2.8. The cheapest you're going to be able to buy in there for, if you go the 1-bed route, when I showed a 1-bed in there, I think it was at the $700,000 mark. So definitely going to be paying a premium. The amenities, as I mentioned earlier, fantastic. They have an indoor and outdoor pool. It's all on this like sky terrace level that they have. The gym for a condo building is fantastic. Not to mention it's attached to the Epicurean Hotel, so you get some of the benefits. You get some discounts at the hotel if people come in to visit you. You get some discounts at the bar, at the restaurant, the Epicurean. So really well situated building, as I said before, in a fantastic location, and the amenities are top notch. You got 24-hour concierge, as you will with most of the buildings on this list. You've got private security on site from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. You really haven't spared anything with this building, so I highly recommend it. The clients that I've shown in there have really liked the building, so it's a fantastic option if you're wanting to be right in the heart of Midtown and you want the high-rise living experience. But jumping into a little bit of the other end of the buildings, for number 5 is One Museum Place. One Museum Place, it's mid-rise. You don't have quite the amenities that you do with 40 West 12th. It's also pretty new, built in 2018, directly across from the High Museum of Art. But as they're mid-rises, it's a much different living experience. You have your own private elevator foyer, you have a private lanai, and all of the units are substantially larger just on a base level than 40 West 12th Street. For the cheapest 1-bed that you can get in One Museum Place, be paying $1 million still, but your square footage is going to be north of 1900 square feet. So it's not like you're paying, $700 for 900 square feet. A much larger living space, and it's just a completely different vibe. It depends on what you're going for. Like I mentioned, it's directly across from the High Museum of Art. It's a little bit up Peachtree, closer to Buckhead. It is a much larger unit, and it's definitely not for someone that wants to be in the heart of Midtown, a little bit further out, not nearly as walkable as 40 West 12th. On the high end of the building, you're going to be looking at north of the $4 million mark or so. Most expensive I've shown in there, I think, was 2.8 or 3.2, somewhere in that range, and it was fantastic. Coming in at number 4, standing over 600 feet tall, right in the heart of Buckhead, is the Waldorf Astoria Residences. First jump into some of the hotel residences, as you'll see later on in this video. But the Waldorf is an incredible building, and you definitely have to pay for what you get as it relates to the units and the HOA. The cheapest unit that I've seen on the market in the Waldorf was like 1.5, 1.6, and they've had units on market north of $5 million in the past. Right now, I think the most expensive is actually one of the 3 townhome style units with like a nice garden area in the back that are on the grounds, listed for right at 2.9. As it relates to the high rise, it's 45 units over 27 floors. So again, a very private, very quiet building. And I know I mentioned the HOA earlier. The HOA average payments are north of $3,000 per month. So more than most people's mortgage payments just on the HOA. But the Waldorf, it speaks for itself. Everyone knows what the Waldorf Astoria is, and to be able to live in that, you're right in the heart of Buckhead. You've got your own private entrance, you've got your own private valet, you get access to all the amenities that the Waldorf Astoria Hotel has. It's a phenomenal building, and it's actually a building that I've never done a deal inside of, I've never worked in. So if you or anyone you know wants to take a look at it, I'd be more than happy to go give you a viewing of the Waldorf, because I just want to go see what's inside of the damn thing. It's a beautiful building. They've got beautiful units inside of them, and you get all the prestige of saying, hey, I live in the Waldorf, which is, in my opinion, pretty badass. Coming in at number 3, the $110 million tower right at the corner of Buckhead Village is the Charles. Again, a very new building. Most expensive on the market right now is at 5.3, 5.2, and I personally am a massive fan of this building for 2 reasons. One, the pool deck. The pool deck is absolutely incredible. It hangs right over Peachtree. It's got this transparent wall where you, like, if you're under the water, you can like see down onto the road. But the other thing that I personally am a huge fan of in this building is the indoor-outdoor living space. As you'll see, there are walls / windows that you can just completely remove. You change the handle on the door, the windows completely just open up. They go to each side of the living room, and it has this massive area for entertaining. The balconies themselves are already larger than average, and as it relates to condos, these are pretty large units. So you wind up with this incredible ability to entertain. And personally, it's just one of the coolest features I've seen in a condo building. I've never actually seen other units where you have the ability to completely kick the wall out and have this massive entertainment area. So I'm a huge fan of the Charles, but again, you're going to be paying a pretty penny to get into the Charles. In my opinion, well worth it. Coming in at number 2 is the St. Regis Residences, attached to the St. Regis Hotel in Buckhead, across from the best dining in the city of Atlanta, the Whole Foods Hot Bar. Attached to the St. Regis is a restaurant called Atlas. One of the benefits of living in the residences is you get a quarterly tasting at Atlas. They'll bring in a Michelin star chef when they redesign their menu for the season, and you get to be the first one to go through and enjoy that. Not to mention you get to meet all of your neighbors in the sky that you're paying north of $5 million to live with. The most expensive that's ever sold in the building was north of $12 million. It was north of 10,000 square feet. So you get these palatial estates essentially in the sky. You're going to be paying an equally steep price on the HOA front, north of $3,000. But because it is attached to the St. Regis Hotel, as I mentioned with the Atlas, you get all of the benefits. You get the valet, you get the sauna, you get the doorman, you get everything that you can possibly imagine as it relates to a hotel residence. The St. Regis Gym, I can go on and on. The Regent Cocktail Club is downstairs. You get access to that. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Plus the Whole Foods Hot Bar, always a phenomenal choice. Now, last but certainly not least, at number 1 is the Graydon. On average, over $880 per foot to get into the building. They're actually still finishing selling the building out. It was built in 21. There's only a couple units left now for new construction. Obviously, there's the resale that's going on. 47 units, over 22 floors. Your average HOA payment is north of $5,500 per month, situated right off Peachtree, right in between Buckhead and Midtown, really. It's in a really good location if you're looking to travel around the city. But one of the big selling points of this is, again, the large interior size of the units themselves, as well as the size of the balconies. There are a number of units, a number of stacks in the building where the balconies are over 700 square feet. And not to mention, oftentimes you're going to be getting 2 separate balconies. I'll throw a video up right now for you guys to take a look at. But the Graydon officially takes number 1 spot for the most expensive currently. Frankly, it's looking like it'll probably not be there for quite long because the Dillon is coming along and they're pre-sale phase right now. But for now, the Graydon is number 1. If you or anyone you know wants to take a look at any of these, feel free to hit the link down below again and have a chat. Be happy to see if it might make sense for us to work together. And if you want to be a good Samaritan, go the extra distance, you can hit the like and the subscribe button down below. It takes 2 seconds of your time and it goes a hell of a long way for myself. Hope to hear from y'all soon. My name is Dallas Blanton.